Welcome back. We are back live at Breeders' Cup for the Breeders' Cup Mile. Thank you for joining. If you were on the previous two streams, we got about 16 minutes to post, so I am going to do a little handicapping and then get back to you. So I'll go ahead and minimize here, and I will be back in a few with a few picks.
Yeah, we felt so. Obviously, ran a very creditable race there in Deauville. You know, some people could have said, well, we're a bit unlucky, but, you know, one thing we learned about the horse was, firstly, he was back on track to where we needed him to be to come to potentially a meeting like this. So, but what I always feel is nice to come into a meeting like this, as I said before, is off a win. And so we felt if we went to Woodbine, he'd hopefully do that. But secondly, also gain experience on that inner track.
When you look at his year overall, the lock-ins to the Queen Anne, to then backing up to sprinting in the July Cup, how would you describe the approach that you've taken with him this year?
Frustrating for the first quarter, but so that's why I was keen to get back on track and get a win under our belts in the Woodbine Mile before we came here. And it's a race that sets up well to come to a Breeders' Cup as well. Historically, it's a good way in, should we say? But been delighted subsequently since he's won the Woodbine Mile and what we've seen here this week.
Good luck today, Charlie.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
We've really seen the dominance with Godolphin, Charlie Appleby in this race specifically, Simon, over the last several years.
Yeah, I mean, this race was written and made for the European. It's tailor-made. Before we had Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, Breeders' Cup Filly Turf. These were the races they dominated. Notable speech. I think part of that Woodbine prep is the timing. I think it just works out perfectly into the Breeders' Cup.
The Lion in Winter is the 4-horse on your screen right now, 7-1. Rich, as far as the pace goes, do you see this horse as involved in the early stages?
It'll be interesting to see how Christophe Soumillon rides him. He was quite prominent in his most couple of recent runs where he's actually performed better as the season has worn on. But I'm watching him here today. I've watched him this week. I've spoken about him a few times.
Get washy normally, right?
He normally gets really sweaty. I like the way that he's progressed through the week. Christophe Soumillon, when I spoke to him on Thursday, mentioned that he feels the horse has really settled into a nice rhythm and a really good mental space out here. And watching him here today, he looks as relaxed as I've seen him this season. A horse who had huge expectations this year, hasn't lived up to them. He's just getting a bit better on the track, and his behavior in the build-up to the race is really positive.
I always feel that way in Del Mar. Go to the beach, a little bit more relaxed.
You'll never
My
see
demeanor
me.
improves.
You'll never see me sweat here, Rishi.
Ever.
Ever.
7-1 there on the Lion in Winter, who does make a picture-perfect appearance behind us in the paddock right now. Let's go back into the paddock with Michael Joyce.
Aiden O'Brien here with the Lion in Winter. I just wanted to get your impressions on that last race. It was a game second, really showed a good turn of foot. And how does that set him up for today?
Yeah, good. He's come out of the race well. We've been very happy with his last two runs. He obviously didn't win, but he very good, solid seconds in both, you know, so he seems in good form.
How do you think he'll take to the tight turf here in the U.S. on the short stretch at Del Mar?
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. Obviously, you never know, but I think he'll be okay. He's off-handed horse. He does handle fast ground, and we think he's tactical, so hopefully he'll run well.
You still on that watch? 28 is the mark you set for yourself. What would it mean to get by it?
Oh, listen, we don't really think about it, to tell you the truth. We just take one race at a time and see what's going to happen. And every Group 1 are very hard to win. And you don't take any of them for granted, really. So it's great to be here and have a chance in this one.
All right, best of luck in this one.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Great to hear from Aiden O'Brien. Good luck to him as he continues to chase his own record. Rich, can you put that in perspective for us, the Group 1 record that he's chasing?
Well, quite extraordinary. Aiden's chasing, as you say, his own record of 28 Group or Grade 1 wins in the season. At the start of the year, people thought he had a really strong team, and then a few disappointments. Obviously, this horse, at the beginning of the year, turned into a little bit of a disappointment because he didn't really deliver. And you're thinking, where are the stars coming from? But as he often does, he puts together a wonderful team, and he's done that again. And he's on 26 at the moment. He's got, obviously, the London Winter here. He's got Bedtime Story to come a little bit later on, so he could equal it today.
We will find out. Simon, we're looking at the 11 rhetorical DRF formulator fact on your screen as well. We've noticed trainer Will Walden on the shank with this horse since they walked into the paddock. Can you tell me a little bit about the horsemanship that you've seen from him with this horse so far today.
Yeah, he wanted to take a hold of him. Obviously, there's a new surroundings, a lot going on here. And, compared to the majority of this field, he's very lightly raced. He doesn't have a lot of racing experience. I know he's had 6 starts. He's very talented. I thought he made a tremendous appearance. He's not getting too worked up. I mean, this is a horse that primarily has been living in state-bred condition races and allowance races for most of his career. His bust-out party was last time out, and I don't think that was a fluke. I think that was a legitimate win. And he's, again, a 4-year-old improving because he's so lightly raced. There's a lot more left in the tank than what you saw last time out.
Joe, is he the best of the American runners in your eyes, rhetorical, or would you look to a Johannes or some others in here?
Rhetorical. I watched this win last time in the Turf Mile, and he's improved literally every single start. But I went with Johannes. We'll get to him earlier after the post break, but he's another one. Only 2 starts this year, but very impressive win last out.
Start with the 1 here at 40-1. That's 1 stripe for Graham Motion, a horse that's had a long journey all the way from South Africa. Don't look at what happened in the Woodbine Mile. They just wanted to get him out. He should be fitted today.
And there's your current favorite, Notable Speech, looking very nice out there. William Buick aboard for Charlie Appleby, coming off that win in the Woodbine Mile.
An improving French 3-year-old is Sarland for Francis Graffard. He's had a wonderful season in France and indeed in Europe. And this horse produced a career best last time when he won the Moulin.
They walked right behind us on the way. I was very impressed with the way the 3 looks. And to your point, Rishi, the Lion in Winter, I remember you talking about him in Breakfast of the Breeders' Cup. He looks very good right now.
Yes, program training at 11-1. Flavian Pratt aboard for Chad Brown. There's 1-for-1 here at Del Mar, winning the Hollywood Derby.
Gran Oriente. I don't know what to do here.
Well, it's Chilean contender, I was about to say, who's clearly capable of some useful form in his own native country. But this is a massive task today.
Big time. Johannes, the 7. Joe likes this horse, and rightly so. I mean, he's a horse that ran in this race last year, only beaten 3 parts of a length.
And this formidable man, 13-1. Johnny V is aboard for Michael McCarthy.
And then we have another of the Japanese contenders, Arjin. Frankie Dettori has been booked to ride this horse, who has got some excellent form in Japan. Again, it's very difficult to understand exactly where it fits in internationally in this company.
I think this is Frankie Dettori's last mount riding in the U.S., correct? Yeah, I mean, he wraps it up here with a few more South American mounts later at the end of the year, but this could be it here domestically. Up to the 11 we're looking at, that's Rhetorical, and here's the 12, Joe.
Yeah, gas me up. Jose Ortiz is aboard. Big long shot at 40-1, coming off a 3rd place effort in the Woodbine Mile.
And finally, speaking of long shots, Kirat won the Sussex Stakes at 150-1 earlier this year when he was deployed as a pacemaker for a horse called Field of Gold. He's run a couple of times since then. His trainer was telling me earlier this week that he had excuses for those 2 performances, and he expects much better today.
That is your field for the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile presented by the PDJF. You have 9 minutes to make your decisions. Let's go to the studio with Dave Weaver.
I've made my decision. It's a money-back special race through your FanDuel racing account. You see that where it says promo up there. And I'm going with Johannes. This is just such a fun horse to follow for Tim Yakteen. When he broke his maiden 12 starts back, he's only lost 3 times since then. 2 of them he went out of state. One of them was Saratoga this year, first start after coming back from the injury. The other one was when he went to Churchill last year. He didn't show speed in those races. He's usually a little bit more forward here in California, whether it be Santa Anita or Del Mar. And his only other loss was in the Breeders' Cup Mile last year when he lost to More Than Looks, who's gone on to stand at Lane's End. So he's definitely has the home turf advantage against the rest of this field, in my opinion. And right now he is at odds of 8-1. Let's check in with Mike Joyce.
Here with Tim Yakteen, who's training Johannes. And I want to get back to that City of Hope Mile, because was that like an exhale to make good after a subpar effort for him and get him back on the win streak?
Well, you always take a big sigh of relief when you pull off a win. That's what we're in it for, is the win. So it was nice.
Was that the kind of race you needed to set him up for today? Because he's a horse that's piled wins on top of wins. He had a nice streak going last year. Coming into this race, how do you feel that set him up?
I think it set him up absolutely perfect. We were looking for a good race from him. We got the good race, so we're ready to roll.
What kind of a trip are you looking for?
We're going to leave that in Umberto's hands. The race came up a little bit paceless, so everybody's going to play the break and ride it from there.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Joe, let's stay with that. I know this is your top selection in here, Johannes. Look, the return race and the 4-star Dave just didn't go as they had hoped. A lot of traffic trouble there, but to the point in the interview, did he get enough out of the City of Hope Mile to propel him back into this type of competition?
Yeah, I mean, in the 4-star, Dave, he was coming off about an 8-month layoff in there, and to your point, had an absolutely brutal trip, was 9th beaten 5, but coming back in the City of Hope, a race that he won last year too, I thought was very impressive, and it looks like he's starting to roll back into the form that we saw last year. And one thing of note too, he was second in the Breeders' Cup Mile last year, and he beat Notable Speech, who's your current favorite.
He is 5 for 7 at the distance on the board in both starts here at Del Mar. One of them was that second place effort that Joe mentioned, another victory over the course here. And he has a huge turn of foot when he gets clear sailing, Simon.
Yeah, there were 2, if you want to call them bad races, on his past performance. The last time, 2 starts back, when he had the most horrific trip that anyone could imagine. And the other one was on the Derby undercard when he ran, he was 5th beaten 2 lengths after a rough trip. So I think he's back to his best. That race, to me, Christine, the last time out, was a pivotal race to see if he had regressed. I don't think he has. He's lightly raced. He could run another bang-up race this year.
Let's go all the way to the rail. Big 45 to 1 on One Stripe. Rich, we have the South African bred here who prepped at Woodbine. Sort of an even effort, I would say, but it looks like he had some trouble there in the Woodbine Mile.
Yeah, he did. He was a very high-class horse in South Africa. Races like the King's Plate and the Cape Guineas, there are some of the best races. The King's Plate is one of the best races in South Africa. And he's not the first South African horse to try and compete at the Breeders' Cup. We remember Izzy Vunga coming over as well. But I thought, even though he had excuses in the Woodbine Mile, it just sort of exposed him where he sits in with the best of the American and European runners.
And I think the odds are telling you that.
Yeah, Graham, we talked to Graham earlier this week, and he said the one thing, the admonition he made, I mean, it took a long time to get him here. They've got a quarantine in multiple places. Mike de Kock, the champion South African trainer, he oversees this. He didn't train this horse in South Africa. He traveled here to the Breeders' Cup. But Graham said the only reason he ran him in the Woodbine Mile, there were no other races to run. He wasn't quite fit enough, and timing-wise, he gave him a chance to regress and regroup. So I think he's going to improve, but he's going to have to.
Let's hear more from the trainer with Kate and Bradar.
Well, in a sea of yellow one-stripe caps, I found Graham Motion. Graham, what has to happen differently than his last race at Woodbine?
Well, I mean, he definitely needed the race last time. It was his first race for a while, first race in North America. So, you know, the object of that race was the timing. I didn't really necessarily want to run against what was going to be the Breeders' Cup favorite, but it was a good place to get him started. And, you know, honestly, he ran a respectable race. But he's going to have to improve significantly.
As far as positioning-wise, do you anticipate something different, a little more into the race earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to go forward. He kind of has to from the one hole. It's a little bit hard to judge the pace with the European horses, but I think he'll go forward from the one hole.
Best of luck.
Thank you, Caden.
Good luck to them. Big price along the inside. 45 to 1 right now on the one horse, One Stripe, the South African bred. Back to the 11. And we saw Will Walden on the shank with Rhetorical. He's certainly minding his manners. Has definitely kept his cool out there. Son of Not This Time. He is 5 for 6 lifetime. And stepping into much deeper waters, but it looked like he really proved that he belongs in this race off that last victory, Simon.
He does. I mean, he earned his way here, and like I said, he's just improving incrementally, which I like. I mean, he's going up in class, and he's improving each and every time, and I think he takes another step forward today.
Scott is with his trainer.
Well, here with trainer Will Walden. And Will, you must have worked up a sweat with Rhetorical dragging you around the paddock. How good is he feeling right now?
Very. No, he's normal for him. So that's what we're looking for. That gives us confidence for him to be acting the way he's always acted. Doesn't mean it doesn't take a toll on me. I'm exhausted.
How's he going to get this job done if he's able to?
I don't know. I'd say he'd probably be forwardly placed. There's not near as much speed as there was in the last race. Ultimately, we're going to leave it up to Irad and him and, see what happens.
How's he trained since his grade 1 win at Keeneland?
I mean, really good. I know you guys saw the last work. It was very good, and that's kind of vintage the way he's been over the past month and a half, 2 months since he got back from Saratoga. So he's going into it the right way. We've done all we can do. It's up to him now.
Good luck, Will.
Thank you.
Joe, let's stay with that just in talking about the pace scenario in here, and Will Walden saying maybe not as much pace on paper in this race as there was in the Turf Mile. How do you see the pace shaking out, and who will be involved on the lead?
I couldn't agree more with what it does look on form a little bit messy as far as who really wants to lead. And quite honestly, I think it's a race to where if someone wants to kind of shake things up and take it to them early and try something new, to go for it, because there's really no true quote-unquote speed horse in there. There's quite a few, including Rhetorical, that they have that stalking speed right off the pace, but no one that you see that, you know, goes to the lead 22.45. And to be honest, I think that could help some of those stalking horses that sometimes might find themselves a little too far back, and they could lay a little bit closer.
Well, one of the European horses employed as a pacemaker in the Sussex Stakes, Kirat, won the race at a huge price, and he clocked some really good fractions that day, in enabling himself to win that race. I wouldn't be surprised if he went forward, because he produced his career best in that manner. He's also on the outside. They've also got Jonquil in the race, who would appreciate a good pace to aim at, judged by his most recent run where he got caught in traffic last time out. So I'm half thinking maybe they may go forward on Kirat to ensure a fair enough pace, and give him a chance as well.
60 to 1, he's less than half the price when he wins on big days.
Yeah, and to your point, I think more of it, they're going to have to try and establish position coming out of that gate.
Rich, of the European runners in here, and I'll just throw a blanket sort of.
Okay, so we're going with our money back specials, the 2, the 4, and the 11. The 2 notable speech at 2 to 1 is a bit short of a price, but I had to do it because William Buick and Appleby own this race, in my opinion. The 4, the Lion and Winner, that's the Aiden O'Brien entry at 7 to 1. I like the value there for a money back special. And then the 11, Rhetorical, with Irad Ortiz aboard at 3 to 1. A little bit short for a U.S.-based horse, but I think that one will. I think actually, if I had to pick the 1-2, it'd probably be 2-11, but I'm hoping for a little bit bigger price. So I'm also playing a trifecta. I'm also playing a trifecta, 210. Well, I'm not gonna go over that. I'm gonna put this up here so we don't miss it.
Formidable Man is in. Here's Salon. Argine.
Good luck.
Frankie Dettori in his final Breeders' Cup ride. Johannes goes in. The Lion in Winter. Jonquil is in. Here's Program Trading and Rhetorical. Gran Oriente has moved into the starting gate. Just a couple left to load here. Gas Me Up moves into line. And that will leave just Kirat to be the last one to step forward to the starting gate. Green cap here. The other Juddmonte, Kirat. Into the gate. All in line, and we're ready for the start. They're off in the Breeders' Cup Mile. The Lion in Winter goes out to the early lead. 1 stripe on the inside. From the far outside, Kirat is sent along. Johannes is close as well. Then Rhetorical, Formidable Man, and Notable Speech on the inside. Salon in behind them, and then it's Jonquil. Program Trading is down toward the rail, about 8 lengths off the lead early on. And then comes Argine and Gran Oriente, and Gas Me Up as the trailer. 1 stripe takes early charge here. Leads at 3/4 of a length. Kirat to the outside is second. The Lion in Winter third, 22.59 the first quarter. Rhetorical and Irad Ortiz are fourth on the outside. They're 3.5 lengths off the lead. Alberto Rispoli has Johannes right in behind that group, racing 4 from the front. Then comes William Buick on Notable Speech down toward the rail. Formidable Man is next. In behind that group, Salon and Jonquil. Program Trading on the inside. Then Gas Me Up, Argine, and Gran Oriente. 46.76 the half for 1 stripe. A 50 to 1 long shot who leads the field around the far turn. Rhetorical ranges up alongside in hand, and now they're side by side on the far turn. Formidable Man tries to get going. The Lion in Winter behind them. Johannes swings up 3 wide. Meanwhile, Notable Speech is down toward the rail. He's got running room, but he needs to go now to catch Rhetorical with a furlong to run. The Lion in Winter, Notable Speech, and Formidable Man on the outside. Here comes Notable Speech charging up the fence. Notable Speech and William Buick explode late to win the Breeders' Cup Mile. And then it was Formidable Man, the Lion in Winter, and Salon.
Give it to Godolphin and Charlie Appleby again. They score in the mile here with notable speech. A beautiful trip along the inside. Joe, William Buick saving all that ground.
Yeah, definitely used that post to his advantage. And we talked about it early. That wasn't too much early pace in here. They went 22 and change, 46 and 3, but very, very good ride coming up that rail.
We'll take a look at the replay one more time and let's pick up the winner. Rishi here, we knew this horse would come with his best race. He's so consistent, but he didn't have as much of a forward position, I think, as they might have wanted, given that we didn't have a lot of pace in this race.
I think William Buick would have been happy enough, but there would have been that little bit of concern when they turned for home. Where am I going to go? And in the end, One Stripe just comes off the rail enough and he spies the gap. But you have to have the horse to take it. And this horse is a 2,000 guineas winner. He's a high-class miler. And look at the turn of foot he produces. He quickens up in fine style. Some fine efforts in behind. I thought Lion Winter's run really well. And the French horse, Sarlan, has also stuck on well down on the inside rail.
Yeah, I was very impressed. This is the ISO look at William Buick, the trip he gets. And you're going to see, I think he got, like you said, he cut the corner and he got the split. It was One Stripe on the lead who was backing up. Sometimes those horses on the lead, when they're getting tight, Joe, when they're backing up into the field, they can cause all sorts of problems. But he managed to slip through. And a lot of it is because he had the horse to do it. And when he pressed the button, I mean, it opened up daylight.
That's when it's fun, when you know you have enough horse to actually be patient and wait there to have a trip. And me and Rishi were looking at each other. The Lion and Winter, who he was following, I thought was having an almost better trip than him. You could see he gets out there. He's second, but no doubt, notable speech. That would a turn of foot that is. I mean, visually, just watching him right here, that stride looks like he's just going so fast. Very, very impressive.
It looks like we put the replay in fast forward.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real time. Taking a look at the way this horse finishes. Rhetorical ran his race, and he had his clear jump 2 or 3 lengths on him at that point.
Yeah, just the experience. He got to the front here, but he's run down. This is how tight it gets. You can see One Stripe, Yellow Silks. Look how tight. But William Buick had the horse to put his head in there and establish position. And you've also got a racehorse that's tiring to your outside. It's not like One Stripe was going faster than him, and he just puts daylight between himself and the rest of the field. Quick shout out to Formidable Man.
Yes.
I mean, he ran a huge race to finish second here.
Johnny Velasquez aboard, Formidable Man from just off the pace. Huge effort from him to finish second. For Michael McCarthy, you mentioned the Lion in Winter, checking in third. Rhetorical holding on for fourth. Salon was fifth. Notable speech. It's Godolphin in the mile once more here at the Breeders' Cup.
Okay, looks like a nice little trifecta hit.
Notable speech.
Kind of chalky, but we'll take it.
Second, number 8, Formidable Man. Third, number 4, The Lion in Winter.
8 will
Fourth,
help.
Number 11, Rhetorical. And fifth was number 3, Salon. 2, 8, 4, 11, 3. Your top 5 finishers, unofficially. The final time, 1 minute 33.66 seconds for the 1 mile on firm turf. And this race is now official. Number 2, Notable Speech, pays $7.20 to win. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, is the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. $1 million guaranteed at a mile on the dirt. Scratch number 4, Mystic Dan. 33 minutes until race number 11, the penultimate race on our program today. That middle pick 4 returns $3,627.25.
Okay, well, we're back on the board. We got a nice $600 hit with that $2 exacta. That helps cushion the blow today. Sorry, the $2 try is what I meant to say. Okay, so we have 2 more races today. The or is it 1 more race? I've lost track. It's been such a long day. We've got the 11th race, the dirt mile. Yeah, there's 2 more races, the dirt mile, and then the last race of the day is the Philly Mare Turf. I know Nick loves the dirt mile this year. I'm hoping he can get in. I'm going to ping him, see if we can get him in here for this. So, yeah, so I'll be away for a minute. I'll make a couple calls here. Hopefully you hit something there.
Now entering the winner's circle, the winner of the 2025 FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile. Number 2, Notable Speech. He's a 4-year-old chestnut colt by Dubawi out of Swift Rose by Invincible Spirit. Notable Speech was bred in Great Britain by Godolphin, who now currently own. Trained by Charlie Appleby, your winning jockey, William Buick. 30 minutes until race 11, the Dirt Mile.
Okay.
Now in the winner's circle are His Excellency Ali Al-Ali, CEO and board member of Dubai Racing Club, and Erwin Sharpie, head of racing operations and international relations for Dubai Racing Club. They are presenting a special ribbon to the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile winning connections, which gives them guaranteed entry to the $5 million Group 1 Dubai Turf at Meydan Racecourse on March 28th. Congratulations, and see you in Dubai.
All right, well, we have a little time here, so I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the dirt mile trends here since we have a little time. I pinged Nick. Hopefully he can pop in. This has a very low favorite win rate, so that's good if you're wagering. The biggest dirt mile payouts have been at Del Mar, which is another good sign. The winners are going to average over 10 to 1. That's an average. At least one 3-year-old has been in the try the last 9 years. The dirt mile pace setter in it's been about 50% winner as far as the pace setter there. 5 of the 18 dirt mile winners exited sprint preps. Those include the Forgo, the Vosberg, and the Sanity Sprint. I'm not sure. I'll have to check and see if there are any that qualify for that. And historically, it's a rebound race with many entering with a defeat. That's an interesting stat. It is one turn friendly, but this is a 2-turn mile. And that's it. Last year's winner, Full Serrano with Joel Rosario. That was a John Sadler entry. So I think maybe the most out of this you could take out is that pace setters are close to 50%. So that's the trends. I'm going to take a look and come back with some picks. Hopefully Nick will join us too.
To do what they've done on this horse over 2 or 3 years now is fabulous. They've completely worked it out how to ride him. Huge credit to Will for using that amazing final furlong, and the pace is extraordinary. So delighted for the whole team, and delighted, of course, for His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. And we've got one more race to go. We love Del Mar. We love the Breeders' Cup.
You've got one more race to go as well, and you've had a choice to make again in that final race, the filly and mare turf. Last year's unlucky runner-up, Cinderella's Dream, over Diamond Rain. How confident are you you've got it right?
Look, I'm very hopeful. You know, she was desperate and lucky in the race last year, and I'm hoping I can make that right this year. But you know, Diamond Rain, she's no second number. She's there with a solid chance, and you know, obviously Cinderella's Dream has the experience at this track, which I think counts for quite a lot.
Great words about Rebel's Romance a little earlier as well. It's been another fruitful afternoon here in the Del Mar Sunshine for Team Godolphin. A 4th win in the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile presented by the PDJF in 5 years, Ahmed.
All right, thank you, Nick. Luck always.
FanDuel is proud to sponsor the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile, presented by the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund, providing financial aid to jockeys who have suffered career-ending on-track injuries. Yamava Resort and Casino has you covered for all your gaming and entertainment needs. With award-winning dining, Forbes 5-star luxury spa, and over 7,000 slot machines. Check out Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. You in?
There's Nick, Mr. Dirt Mile.
Oh yeah. So we're playing NISOs. I'm gonna come in here and say let's play the 1 to 2 shot.
Okay, my first question is, can Full Serrano repeat?
No.
That's a no.
No.
Okay.
No chance.
No chance of Full Serrano repeating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? I mean, what makes you think that Full Serrano is good here?
I just feel like Del Mar is capable of having a repeat winner, being that Full Serrano is a SoCal horse. I think it's kind of a local angle. I'm just kind of looking at some of the trends. My trends last race was right on, man. I mean, Buick, Appleby, and I don't know. So I'm looking at the trends.
So the track feels like it's playing very forwardly placed. So if he were to go gate to wire, it feels like that's the move. But there's 3 Baffords here, right? So goal oriented, Nisos, and Citizen Bowl, right? One of those ones gets the lead. So either that Baffert goes gate to wire, or they go faster than the quarter horses are going to go in about an hour and a half at Los Al, and we finally get a breakdown of a race on the dirt, right? Like that's how it looks to me. And if
Uh,
that's the case, you get Chancellor McPatrick, and I'm going to key Chancellor McPatrick in exactas and trifectas. But I'm a Nisos over Chancellor McPatrick over all, and a Nisos over all over Chancellor McPatrick type of play right at the moment, I
wow.
think.
Really? You like Chancellor McPatrick that much?
No, I hate Chancellor McPatrick, but it certainly feels like this is the race that we're going to finally see this pace just like if we get a 15-second quarter mile, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's what they run at Los Al. That sounds about right.
I mean, 2 to 5 on Nisos. I can't play that. I can't play
So,
it.
which race of Nisos do you not like? The one
Oh,
where he
it's not.
ran second, or the one that
It's
he won every other race he's ever ran in?
it's not that I don't like a race. It's just that this is the Breeders' Cup,
Yeah.
and things happen, and this is not really a favorite type race. So I'm looking at the second, third, and fourth favorite. I actually,
So the only horse that I would have any real belief in here is goal oriented. But if you told me that Citizen Bowl won, I would say okay, right? Like this feels like has Baffert won a race yet? Yeah, he won the Philly and
yeah, he
Mare
won. He
Sprint,
won one. Yeah,
but
I
he
would
won
lean more
one.
towards goal oriented than I would Nisos, just because of the odds difference. But I'm strictly
Right.
looking at it at a value
Right.
angle. I mean, Nisos clearly is the best. I mean, I'm looking at these Grisnet numbers. They're off the charts. 104, 106, 100, 100, 102. It's never not fired. But this is the Breeders' Cup. It's towards the end of the day, and I'm thinking there's going to be some kind of mid long shot here. So I'm
Yeah, I
playing.
mean,
I'm going to place mid long shots here.
if like goal oriented winning this race would not be a huge shock, right? He's a 3-year-old who's getting better. He has a similar number cutting back from the mile and an eighth and the mile and an eighth and the Preakness. So like if he cuts back and wins would not be a huge shock. But Nisos is also cutting back. And how mad is Baffert right now that he didn't have Nisos winning the classic? Because I bet Nisos could have gotten a mile and a quarter on this track and just kind of ran around the track. It feels like if you look at the pick threes, which are currently sitting or are the pick threes say that Nisus is $34 for a dollar, and the next closest is $114. If you're going to bet against the CAWs, be my guest, and they lose all the time. But they don't normally lose when they've hammered it to that extent where they're like, you know what, who's going to win? Nisos. We'll play everything else, and we're going to just hit Nisos here.
Okay.
So I
Well,
hate
here's
it.
what I'll do. I'm going to play 10, 6, 2, 7 in an exacta box because that's what I said I was going to do. That's White Barrio, full Serrano, goal oriented Citizen Bowl in an exacta box. But then I'll take Nisos and put them on top, and I'll play an exact 5 with my 4 underneath in any order.
That feels very much well, hold on. One of these Twitter people just said that Seismic Beauty looked like more of a lock than Nisos, and she flopped. 2 to 5 is a ridiculous price. So I don't disagree with that, but also
I got 9 to 5 now.
Yeah,
better.
But yeah, it's like he's gonna go off at such a
Oh no,
low
that's 2 to
price
5.
here.
It's still 2 to
It's
5. That was the morning line, I think.
it's going to be just such a short price, and it feels like these are the races that the computers just hammer. And you had a pretty logical results the last two, right? I mean, notable speech was 720 and was the favorite, and Forever Young was the second choice, third choice. So it's a pretty logical way to end this here, and it just feels like I don't know. I don't love Nisos. I hate saying that I like Nisos. I don't want to bet Nisos. But you know what? Nisos wins this race 9 out of 10 times. right? Like, how often does Niso
Yeah.
actually win? Like, he's so
Yeah.
much better than most. Now, he loses it once in a while, but it certainly feels like, Niso's, he wins, whatever.
I feel like White Abario and Full Serrano are bargains at 5 and 8 to 1. I'll take that. Those are my money backs, along with probably Citizen Bowl instead of goal oriented. Those are going to be my 3 money backs: White Abario, Full Serrano, Citizen Bowl. Um, I don't want any part of Nisos,
Yeah.
except for that super high five. But I definitely wanted to hear what you had to say, because I know you love the dirt mile. So how are you playing it then?
Right now I'm live to Nisos for $100 double, and I'm looking at a double into the 9, which is Cinderella's Dream. And it doesn't seem like a huge price, and I don't love not playing a huge price to end it, but I got Los Al and 610, and I got Hong Kong starts at 945, so I can get my prices in other places. And this is sort of feels like the place where I'm gonna get I'm gonna eat the chalk, and I'm gonna cash some tickets in the day is what it feels like to me.
All right. Well, how you doing overall on the day?
I hit the Bin Tornado, another favorite, in the double and in a win, and I hit an exacta with Bin Tornado over Imagination that paid my mortgage for the month and my mortgage technically for 2 months. So hopefully Kim's not watching to know that I won that much because I just told her that I hit the win bet. Um, so it's been a good Breeders' Cup. It's been, it's not, you got one big price in the turf, and otherwise it just feels like what you get in these big days, which is a lot of chalk, and you get a better price than you kind of expect. And I would have loved more than 1 to 2 on NISOs, but I don't know, like it feels like this is the one where it's just like NISOs wins for fun. He goes and stands for stud, and I I'm not a fan. Like, if I were to buy a horse, I would never buy a Nisos sired horse, right? He's ran 7 times. Do you want a Nisos horse? Like, it doesn't feel like the right move, and what's kind of wrong with horse racing at the moment of like, yeah, he's well bred and he's never lost, or he's lost 1 time, so let's go stand him for stud for $100,000 each time. But I don't know. It it doesn't feel like a good race to really bet other than I don't know, White Barrio outside of Gulfstream. Do you want to touch White Barrio outside of Gulfstream? Like if we were at Gulfstream, I think White Barrio at 5 to 1's the play, but maybe he's the second choice. Like maybe you play him underneath instead.
I think White Bar is still good enough, regardless of the track. But well, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when this race is done, I might say, "Well, you were completely right." And Dysos, and he
Yeah.
wins by 6 lengths or something like that. But I just throwing in, it's the Breeders' Cup, and it's not always like it is on paper.
Right.
So,
And
and
I mean,
and for betting purposes, that's why I'm against Nysos. He's clearly
yeah.
the best on paper.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like he's so much better and they lose all the time. Like that's why they run the races. But cutting back to a mile just feels like what he should have been doing the whole time. And had he been running a mile and an eighth, if this were a 1 turn mile, I don't think there's any question on who's the best horse. I think it's the 2 turns that may end up getting him just because he may not be able to sit close enough. And the horse itself may just be that he needs to be closer than he'll want to be, and maybe you know goal oriented just runs around the track and nobody ever gets to him. But I think that this kind of sets up in the perfect spot for a very very chalky result. Now the Philly Mare Turf, I don't know, roll some dice and pick what you want in that group because that group is wide open. And why this day is so hard is that you get these really, really random results and another 3 turn on the turf. I don't know. We just had a 25 to 1 that felt like it should have been 250 to 1. So the doubles here are what would be very interesting to me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna back off the super high five. I'm gonna go to a trifecta or a superfecta instead. So that was um, Nisos over 2, 6, 7, 10. That's what I'm gonna do for
Yeah.
for the Nisos, because I think the Super High Five is just pushing it a little bit. You know,
Yeah, and
with the 10-horse field, it could be anybody in that 5th spot. So I'm
yeah,
going to cut my chances, make my chances a little better, and go 3 over 267 over 267 10. I'm sorry, 267 10 over the same 3rd and 4th.
I would include Chancellor McPatrick, because if this race does fall apart, he feels like the one that can actually get the distance and start actually closing. And he feels
What
like
number
with
is he?
Sierra, he's the 8. He's going to be last. He's definitely a closer. He feels very much like a cheap version of Sierra Leone, and he needs a perfect setup, which I don't think he gets here because I just don't think this track works for him. But if Chancellor McPatrick were to come up and run second, it would not be a huge shock to me.
Okay, for bragging rights, I am not going to add Chancellor McPatrick. I'm going to say Chancellor McPatrick is 7th or 8th. I've never liked Chancellor McPatrick.
Yeah, and he ran 6 here last year in the juvenile and never really made up the rest of it. But Citizen Bull won that race, and nobody here is playing Citizen Bull. So if Citizen Bull and Chancellor McPatrick finally hit the board, go 1-2 here, also wouldn't be a huge shock, though. It would be actually kind of a shock. I think Bull Oriented is the one that would be the one that I don't want to lose to. Looking at this, it's just like, I think Nisus is best. If Goal Oriented wins, I don't want to lose. If Full Toronto beats me, fine. If White's Obario beats me, fine. But those are the two that I'm going to kind of. I'm 90% of my money's going through Nisos, and I'll play a little bit with Goal Oriented on top and just go from there.
All right. Well, I'm glad you chimed in a bit. Are you able to stay, or are you gonna watch it there?
I'm gonna watch it here. I gotta go.
Okay.
Hop off here.
All right. Well, thanks for popping in. I teased that you might come in and chime in on the dirt mile because I know you love the dirt mile. And good luck with your nicest bet.
Next year at Keeneland on a 1-turn dirt mile is when we really have it. The 2-turn mile, not my favorite. You give me the Pat Day mile on Derby Day, my favorite race of the year. This one, I'm settling on a 3 to 5 shot. That feels bad.
You know what? Maybe we should go.
Yeah,
I'm
in. Absolutely. Not on Halloween next year. We got plenty of time.
It is on Halloween. Oh, is Halloween on Sunday next year?
It's something like that. Yeah.
It must be a leap year next year, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't look.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it. That sounds like fun. So, okay, Nick, thanks for popping in, and good luck with your bet. And I'm gonna ride my 2, 6, 7, 10 into the sunset.
So what I understand is that it won't be on Halloween because Halloween is on Saturday. So Breeders' Cup will be on the 6th and the 7th.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yep.
They have one day November. It's usually November dates. All right.
Yep.
Okay, great.
So, lots of
time. All right,
time.
Nick.
All right. I'll see you, Gerald.
Good luck. Thanks for popping in. All right. Bye.
Bye.
That's Nick, who's having a pretty good day. Let me put the audio up on the screen here, and as I get my bets
going
in.
quick, he knows to back off a little bit. If they slow it down, he knows when to move accordingly, and he's definitely going to need that in a race to where on paper it looks like they could go quick early, or if Citizen Bull does go out on his own and slows it down, I think he's going to have to ride accordingly to keep him a little bit closer.
Let's go to Caton for more on this runner.
Case Clay for Wathan Racing has Tumbarumba. How is he doing coming into this big race?
Yeah, he's doing fantastic. He's on good form. He's won his last 2 races, and excited to have him here. He ran a good 4th last year, and I think he's in better form than he was last year.
He comes into the race in a different way, a different route, and on a winning note. Style-wise, what are you hoping for? Will he show the same speed he did last time, or can he settle?
I'm hoping so. It seems like speed is holding today on the dirt. So I'm hoping he gets a good break and goes for it.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Kate.
Caden, we have 2 more money back special chances through your FanDuel Racing account. Go to race number 11 here, the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And this is the race that Bob Baffert has 3 horses in. But did you know He's never won this race before. Did you know he's 0 for 12 lifetime in this race with 11 off-the-board finishes? The only time he finished in the money in this race was 2 years ago with National Treasure behind Cody Swish. Yeah, but he's probably never had a 3 to 5 shot before. He did with Dortmund back in 2016. So if I can get around the 3 Baffert runners, to me, it becomes between Full Serrano and White Abarrio. I've got my $10 to win on White Abarrio, who's going to make that move late to get the win. That's the way I see it. Let's check in with Scott Hazelton.
Chad Brown with Chancellor McPatrick here in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Is there a sense of urgency in needing this pace to be either extremely quick or have him more into the race, given the way the racetrack's playing today, Chad?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, clearly it's a speedy track today, and I think all the top jockeys in the world here, so they're seeing as the card unfolds here what's going on. So I'd say a lot of them, there's already a lot of speed signed on to begin with, but a lot of them are going to really probably try to get early position there, which will help a closer like us. Maybe it'll turn our way here late in the day.
Good luck, Chad.
Thank you.
Chancellor McPatrick looking well out on track there, 30 to 1 from his 15 to 1 morning line for Chad Brown, the winner of the Curlin 2 races back. That was at the mile and 1/8, and they turned him back in distance to the Allen Jerkins at 7 furlongs last time out. He is going to drop back, though. As you said, he needs to hope that there is a bit of a pace duel up front to set it up for him. Is that a potential from what we're seeing on paper?
And Chad Brown made such a great point. It definitely, I feel like the track is playing for speed, and he noticed that some of the best jockeys in the world are riding here today, and they'll ride that accordingly. But saying that, sometimes on a speed favoring track, a lot of guys might change their tactics and try and go early. But then when you go too fast, at some point it will set up for a closer, and you could definitely see that in this race if it transpires.
6 minutes now to make your wagers for the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Still, our heavy choice is Nisos. No surprise there. He continues to be very strongly bet in the win pools and really across all sequences. I know a single on some tickets. Simon, as far as your double, adding one more in here to start.
Yeah, look, I like Nisos all week, but in this situation, I'm adding goal-orientated, especially having seen what's happened in the last hour with the Breeders' Cup Classic. This horse was running against Journalism and Baeza. Journalism ran a good race in the Classic. Yeah. He was 4th. He was only beaten 4 lengths. So that form has held up well. Goal-orientated was 3rd in the Haskell behind him and Goska. So I'm using him. I'll use Nisos. And then in the Filly and Mare Turf, that's a tough race. It really is. I have no strong opinion in there. Diamond Rain I'm going to use the 9, Cinderella's Dream, obviously. The 11, 13, and 14 will be my top picks. See the Fire for Andrew Balding and Ocean Murphy to the outside. I liked her effort in the Prix de l'Opera. She ran twice against the boys. Against Ombudsman, he would have been one of the favorites in the Breeders' Cup Turf if it showed up.
That double is available if you'd like to play it. FanDuel Racing, 4 minutes until race number 11, the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Touch of Destiny, sort of the X factor in here. We don't know a lot about this horse. He is 30 to 1, the Uruguayan bred. He is now in the barn of trainer Michael McCarthy. Michelle caught up with him for some info on this runner.
The undefeated Touch of Destiny comes postward here from Michael McCarthy, who's had quite the weekend with some big runner-up efforts. How is Touch of Destiny going to do one better for you?
That's a good question here. We're going to go ahead, bounce on out of there. I'm not sure if Uruguayan speed is anything like American speed, but drawn outside, or
ladies and gentlemen, your attention,
one horse outside
please.
of us. We're going to need to go ahead and run away from there. Don't want to get too
10,
caught too far wide into the first turn.
scratch.
We'll leave that up to Luis, and hopefully he comes with his run. He's a little bit younger than some of these
10,
in here.
White Abarrio from this race.
Seems like he's really turned the corner the last month. We feel like it's an honor to represent everybody from Uruguay and Harris Philipson. So we'll see what happens here.
Is he the most underrated, undefeated horse that's been in the Breeders' Cup?
At least the most underrated, undefeated horse that's 6 for 6 in Uruguay, probably, yes.
Good luck here, Michael.
Thank you.
You can never doubt an undefeated horse. Now this has just transpired over the last couple of seconds. You can see White Abarrio jogging off the racetrack. The 10 horse has been scratched here. It's important to note that at the Breeders' Cup, we talk about all of the safety protocols that are in place, and with the veterinary checks that begin days and weeks in advance of race time, those continue to happen out on the racetrack. Now, we weren't watching him throughout the entirety of the warm-up here, Joe, but this could be a number of things. The vets could have taken a look. Perhaps the rider didn't like what he was feeling. Someone at some point just raising a flag to say, hey, this might not be the day for him to compete.
Yeah, those are really good points, Christina, especially someone like Irad Ortiz, who has ridden this horse so many times. I don't know if it was him that went to the veterinarians or if they saw something, but that's one thing of note, too. I mean, there's at least, what, Simon, 8 to 10 veterinarians out there, so I'm sure at least if one of them sees something that, even if it's 2 or 3% off of 100, they do not want to take a chance.
And again, they have notes on these horses that they've been following all week. We saw him on Breakfast of the Breeders' Cup show, and we were talking about how the vets follow these horses all week. They have a baseline, so yeah.
I think it's important to note as well. Obviously, it is disappointing to the fans, to any bettors. You do have some time to make your adjustments out there. If you had this horse in sequential wagers, you'll move to the favorite. But also just from a racing perspective, we're here to support the vets, and we're here to support the safety protocols, and we all are here to embrace the same outcome, which is a safe finish and the best horse winning.
No, absolutely. Not only for the animal, but the jockey as well.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't want anything to happen to anybody out there. Not only that, the horses and riders behind them. So it's a lot better and safer to side on the side of caution.
Only a minute until post time here. Nisos continues to be our heavy choice. One of the shortest price runners I think that we've had throughout the afternoon here. And as they begin the loading process, we'll turn it over to Larry Colmus for the call of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile.
Okay, well, you heard the scratch of White Abaria, the 10. It's kind of thrown me off here. Let me see what I had. Exacta box 267 now, the money back special. Wipe out the 10 on that money back
at the
special.
gate for the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile.
And I do have a superfecta right now. It is.
And We'll Take It will be the first one to load. Citizen Bull is moved into line.
And here's my super.
Goal-oriented.
That's my super at the end.
Chancer McPatrick coming up to line. Nisos is in. Tumbarumba. Defending champion Full Serrano.
Good luck if you're wagering.
And Touch of Destiny will be the last one. Touch of Destiny about to step forward to line. Touch of Destiny goes in. Rolling line. They're off in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And Citizen Bull is sent to the lead. Nisos goes with him. Full Serrano is close. And then Touch of Destiny on the outside, racing for the turn. Goal-oriented, sits back, runs along in 5th position. They're moving right along early on. Then it's Tumbarumba, Will Take It, and Chancer McPatrick. So it will be Citizen Bull and Juan Hernandez to lead the way in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, with defending champion Full Serrano right behind, and the Uruguayan Touch of Destiny alongside of him. A length and a half back. Then comes Goal-Oriented outside of the favorite Nisos. They're 4 ahead of Will Take It and Tumbarumba. Chancer McPatrick trails. The pace is supersonic here. 21.74 seconds up the backstretch. Citizen Bull up top, the leader by a length and a half to Full Serrano in second. Touch of Destiny starts to give way now, passed by Nisos on the inside, and Goal-Oriented on the outside. Then Will Take It and Tumbarumba. Chancer McPatrick trails through a 44.96 half mile. Around the far turn, Citizen Bull on top by 2. With his stablemate Nisos starting to cut into the gap a bit in second. These two turn for home 3 lengths clear of stablemate goal-oriented. Bob Baffert 1, 2, 3 here. Then Full Serrano and Tumbarumba. Chancer McPatrick has made ground on the far outside. Starting to close in, but a lot of work to do to catch these top 2 up front. Citizen Bull and Nisos. Nisos and Citizen Bull, side by side and stride for stride. Who's it going to be, Nisos or Citizen Bull in the dirt mile? It is too close to call. Was it Nisos? Was it Citizen Bull? The Bob Baffert trainees, noses apart on the wire.
Lightning fast, and as advertised, this Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile coming down to a photo between the 2 Baffert runners. Juan Hernandez on the inside with Citizen Bull looking for his very first Breeders' Cup, and to the outside, Nisos.
That was a good race.
Perfect trip, Joe.
I'm not sure who quite got their head down, but I know Bob won. That's for sure. But I tell you what, win or lose, what Citizen Bull did here, 21-3, 44-4. I mean, this is sprint fractions, and for him to truly fight back, so determined in the end, what a horse race this was from the top of the stretch.
This is where you want to be on the main track all week long, no matter how fast the fractions go. We saw it in the distaff. These two ran 1-2 around the racetrack. Inside, outside, inside, outside.
Oh, that's close.
Photo in behind as
That's
well,
close.
but that would definitely lead you in the direction of Nisos, your 3-5 favorite in here, and solid credit efforts to these top 2 finishers, just absolutely laying it down, ears pinned, giving their all. Flavien Prat able to sit back off of those very, very fast fractions, keep Nisos comfortable, not only at a slower tempo, but also saving ground, just relaxed back behind this horse, and they hit the wire together.
Go ahead, Joe.
I think the key ride, too, for Flavien Prat, if you notice, Nisos, I think, broke in front, and Citizen Bull with Juan Hernandez was very intent on going to the lead, and you could see they just posted it. Nisos did get up, but I thought the key in this race was him actually taking back and conceding, being there up early, and he was able to finish accordingly in the end.
I know we have no more dirt races left, Christina, but when you get the lead here, I mean, the track does take you a long way. You know, running these fractions, there was nobody else closing. Chancer McPatrick was third, big race from him, but he was a distant third. But yeah, Citizen Bull kind of set the table for his stablemate. Nisos huge race to rally from off the pace and run him down.
It's almost tough to believe with his talent, and now this record, he's 6 for 7 lifetime. This is his first Grade 1 victory, Nisos. I mean, he's been a Grade 1 animal since the second he stepped on the racetrack.
He's only running 1 Grade 1. He was beating a neck off a long layoff behind Mindframe, and a huge effort that was. Dead heated for second, right? They do make contact there late, but I don't think that's of any significance.
Nisos home on top, 3-5 as your heavy post-time favorite. Citizen Bull finishing second after those blazing fast fractions. He was 5-1. Chancer McPatrick did run on from off the pace. We heard from Chad Brown prior to this race. He crosses the wire third. Tumbarumba gets a piece of it, and last year's winner, Full Serrano, checking in behind those runners. Here's a look one more time, isolated replay on Nisos, and this is right when Flavien Prat starts to really set him down, but Citizen Bull was not giving up without a fight.
I tell you what, this is so enjoyable to watch these two coming down the stretch, especially with Citizen Bull setting those lightning fractions, but Nisos under a really, really good ride under Flavien Prat, saved ground the whole way, tipped out, turning for home, had to really work for it in the end, but nonetheless got the job done in exciting fashion.
Photo finish in the dirt mile. It goes to Nisos, your 3-5 favorite.
Number 3, Nisos was first. Second, number 7, Citizen Bull. Third, number 8, Chancer McPatrick. Fourth, number 5, Tumbarumba. And fifth was number 6, Full Serrano. 3, 7, 8, 5, 6. Now your official order of finish. 1 mile completed in 1 minute 34.71 seconds, of course, on the dirt.
Okay, nice stretch run there between Nisos and Citizen Bull. Should have listened to Nick and used Chancer McPatrick, but I'm looking at the payouts. The $1 try, I paid $48. It wasn't worth it, so I probably shouldn't have bet after all. I did get my money back on Citizen Bull.
Number 3,
but
Nisos,
lost
pays
my other two.
$3.40
Actually, I lost
to
one
win.
other
A
one
reminder,
because
we have that
the
consolation
10,
double of the late scratch of number 10, White
the 10
Abario,
was
paying
White Abario,
$370.
so that one
The
was
regular double for 2-3,
refunded.
$590.
But nice race.
Also, the
Nice.
consolation pick 3 pays $9 even. 523 pick 3 for 50 cents, $15.30.
Nisos didn't blow them away. I actually thought he was going to lose. Like if you heard me talking to Nick, oh man, that's pretty close. But a great race, a really good race. And that takes us to our last race of the day, the filly and mare turf sprint, I believe it is. I'm checking now. It's been so many races, everything is kind of a blur. But thank you a lot for joining us. The filly and mare turf. I'm sorry, the filly and mare turf is the last race of the day. I should look at Nisos. Thanks again for joining. If you were able to join any of the 3 streams today, we did 3 separate streams, 3 races a piece with a little break in between, just so I could grab a drink of water, use the restroom, stuff like that. And it's been an okay Breeders' Cup. I've hit a couple of nice ones, but overall I think I'm down. It's I don't know. I think maybe I over handicap sometimes, and just instead of just going with my gut. You can kind of fool yourself sometimes when you look at this over and over. But so I don't know. Maybe next year, Nick and I talked about maybe we might go to Keeneland and watch the Breeders' Cup. We've been talking about doing that, so we'll see. But yeah, one more race, the filly and mare turf. I'll go ahead and read off some trends. I'm curious. Let me look back at the trends for this one. This one said dirt mile pace setters did well, and that was Citizen Bull. It almost won. Historically, a rebound race with many entering a
Now
defeat.
entering the winner's circle, the winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, number 3.
Nisos did not enter with the defeat, but let's see. Did Citizen Bull? Citizen Bull may have entered with a defeat. No, Citizen Bull also had a win in the shared belief.
Also giving Team Baffert the exacta here in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Your winning jockey Flavian Pratt with a pair of victories.
So this next race, the filly mare turf, is actually another good betting race. That is if they have a large field, and I'm checking for scratches. I think there's just one scratch, the 3, they said.
30 minutes away.
Yeah, the 3 is a scratch, so that's a field of 13. It is a good betting race then. 6 straight winners have prepped outside of U.S. All 3, in all 3 Del Mar filly and mare turfs, we've had 6 straight winners prep outside the U.S. Okay, average winner about 9-1. Favorites are 2 for the last 18, but finished second many times. So we want to pick a non-favorite. This is an interesting stat. California preppers are 0 for 58. So automatically, I'm going to throw out every single horse that prepped in California. And they're rarely in the money. 3-0 Euros have won 8 times. Front runners are 2 for 25. It's not wire to wire friendly. And Aiden O'Brien has not done very well in this race also. Although Euros are mostly in the trifecta. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll play a trifecta. What we'll do is maybe we'll pick the best U.S. base horse and then fill in the trifecta with the other Euros. The Flower Bowl and the First Lady States have produced many winners. And you want to use Chad Brown in this race. So that would be the 4 Village Voice. And I think that's his only entry here, Village Voice. Yeah. Great Britain bred runners I've won it 9 times. So I'm going to look at these trends, look over the sheet, and see what I come up with. So I'll be back in a few. Talk to you later.
So's coming out on top. And for the winner's circle presentation, so pleased to have, I know, a horse racing fan, Elizabeth Banks, actress and Breeders' Cup ambassador, to the winning owners, Charlie and Susan Chu.
Congratulations on having a Breeders' Cup champion.
Thank you.
Susan, it is a very heavy trophy. You can put it back down there if you want.
Charlie, you hold it, Charlie. There you go.
There we go, up high. Susan, a few words with you. Thrilling finish. Did you think he got up in time?
Absolutely, yes. I'm very confident on him. Very, very.
Had full faith the entire time.
Exactly. I put my sweat and tear in this sport. I've been so patient, waiting for almost 10 years now. Another British Cup winner.
Of course, you had Dre Fong, champion sprinter. Just describe Nysos, though. We know that he's brilliant on the racetrack, but for you as an owner, what does it mean to be here with him?
I think we're just so proud about him. I know Bob, of course, is one of the best trainer all time. And we've been so patient. We know he can make it, but we just have to give him more time. So we never rush, and we know it will happen today.
And that it did. A big congratulations to you, Nysos, your Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile champion. Worth the wait.
Elegance is an attitude.
Hello.
Yo.
Hey.
You know what I'm thinking?
What are you thinking?
Hawks, Pelicans, Raptors, dinosaur parlay.
Okay.
I feel like mascots should affect the over-under, no? Try saying player props 3 times fast. Player props, player props, player props. A little easier than I thought it was going to be. I don't know. Ooh, betting in space? I'll be honest, I think the moon's overrated. I'm sorry. Back to my original thought.
Oh, my God.
New customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
Douglas trusts Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
I'm Douglas, and I'm from Chicago. I was looking for something specifically for my brain. That's when I chose Prevagen. And the confidence I've received from Prevagen allows me to continue to do those things that I love. I have been taking Prevagen for more than 9 years, and it really works for me.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
When the Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf came to Del Mar in 2021, Love's Only You became the first Japanese-based winner of a Breeders' Cup race. Another 5-year-old won this race at Del Mar last year as Moira took home the trophy in her 3rd try and took trainer Kevin Attard to the Breeders' Cup winner's circle for the first time. Ouija Board is the only horse to win this race twice. She recorded her first one in 2004 as a 3-year-old at Lone Star Park.
Ouija Board, and Karen Fallon to win.
the filly and mare turf. He did it in a perfect journey.
This is the $2 million Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf.
One more race to go on championship weekend. 23 minutes until post time for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf at the mile and 3/8 distance here at Del Mar. She Feels Pretty, certainly a runner that figured to take a lot of attention in here for Cherie DeVoe. Johnny Velasquez will be aboard. She's the 13 horse currently on the board at 9-2. Cherie breaking through with her first Breeders' Cup winner last year, more than looks in the mile. She looks to follow it up again with a winner this year. Let's hear from her now.
Cherie DeVoe, She Feels Pretty, comes in off of a layoff. Cherie, what is the game plan here?
Well, from our post, it's going to be to try to get a good position and not be too wide. Hopefully early in the race, but if not, Johnny's going to have to do that in the second turn because it's probably going to be too much if she's caught wide both turns.
The time in between races by design with this as the target?
Most definitely. She had a tough campaign. Didn't run a whole lot of races, but every race she runs in, she puts it all out there. And it was with the EP Taylor. We just wanted to get her feeling as fresh, as happy as she could be, and take her here, with that being in mind.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Good luck to them with She Feels Pretty, John Velasquez in the saddle. Welcome back to the set. Christina, Simon, Joe, and Rishi with you for this last of our Breeders' Cup Championship events. Simon, let's start with the distance for She Feels Pretty. She tries the mile and 3/8 for the first time today. Is it a concern for you?
I don't think so. I was impressed with her American Oaks win at the end of her 3-year-old year. She wanted a 1.25 miles. She wanted a 1.25 miles last time out. So I don't really have a problem with the distance for her. So, I mean, she deserves, a chance in here. She's as legitimate as any of the other favorites in here.
We can take a look at the EP Taylor. She was a winner last time out over that course. This was back on August the 16th. Then as we take a look at the breeders of these horses. And Joe, what I was most impressed with in this backtrack is just the way this filly drags John Velasquez to the lead. She knows her job.
Yeah, she does. You can see Johnny's so confident, even a peek, look back, turning for home there. And Johnny knows this filly well. He's ridden her 11 times out of all 12 of her starts. He's won 5 grade 1s on her. He knows her very, very well. And you can see her. It's almost like she was waiting a little bit in the end there. She only wins by a head there over Diamond Rain, who came flying in the end, and she's the number 6 horse in here. But I think more than anything, she definitely has to deal with that 13 post. A turn here at Del Mar comes up very quick, going 1 mile and 3/8. So she's definitely going to have to work out a good trip.
Rishi Diamond Rain was chasing her in that race, as we saw, second beaten ahead. And I think it's pretty easy to argue that if they had a few more jumps, which they will today, it looks like she might have been able to catch her.
I agree with that. And also, Diamond Rain will never have run, or would prior to that run, have encountered a track quite like that before. Even when she won at, say, Haydock or Newcastle, and it's a turning track, yes, it turns, but it turns gently and it's long galloping straight. And yes, there's time for her to get going. But I think the extra distance and that experience of that race will really help her.
Worth noting that She Feels Pretty did hold her off on the gallop out too. Maybe she knew right where the wire was out there. But Diamond Rain, a formidable opponent here today, and she is on the board at 5-1. Here's a look at our current favorite, Cinderella's Dream. Cinderella's Dream favored in the doubles, the pick 3, the pick 4. You're going to see this money stick with her. She Feels Pretty favored in the pick 5s and the pick 6, interestingly. So we'll watch the money between those two horses. Richard, tell us about Cinderella's Dream. She's been here to the States before. She's been here to Del Mar and was close to victory here last year.
Yeah, she finished really well last year, arguably a little bit unlucky. This season, she's had her moments. She's had some good moments. But the real issue with her was on a couple of occasions, she hasn't had her ground. But this is where Cinderella's Dream is kind of at her best. Turning track, quick ground, and she's bottled up on the rail. She couldn't get her run quite enough time. And I remember speaking to Charlie Appleby earlier in the week, and I said to him, I need you to tell me a horse that you think you want to win this week at the Breeders' Cup and a horse that you think will win at the Breeders' Cup. And he said, I want Rebel's Romance to win, but I think Cinderella's Dream will win. primarily because she came out of her most recent race so well. He feels she's improved, she's bouncing after that run. Just in watching her going around the paddock here, she seems in really good shape with herself. She seems really alert and bright, but settled.
Well, with what we saw from Notable Speech and William Buick in that ride, certainly forced to be reckoned with. Coming up next here in the Filly and Mare Turf, Michelle is with their trainer.
A pair in here for Charlie Appleby. We'll start with Diamond Rain coming in off a runner-up effort in the EP Taylor last time out. You think the more ground today is going to work in her favor?
Yeah, most definitely. The ground will work in her favour. The track will probably be against her. She struggled a little bit round Woodbine there on the outer track. But look, she's gained experience from it. We've tried our best at home to try and educate her a little bit more. But when you see her come into the paddock, there won't be too many bigger than her. So, you know, she's going to have to, Billy's going to have to work hard to try to help around these turns. But, you know, she's in contention, you know, coming into that last turn. The one thing she will do is she'll see this trip out well.
Cinderella's Dream also going in here. She was a runner-up last year. How is she going to do one better?
Well, look, we were pitched it down on the rail there last year and probably didn't ideally work to our favours. But well, she comes here in good shape. I know was beaten on her last start, finishing third, but I feel the step back up in trip for her is going to suit her as well. So look, she gets a clear run out of it. I think she's got a real live shot, should we say.
Already have a fantastic weekend with the winner, so congratulations there and good luck here.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to Charlie Appleby, to Godolphin, to the riders on his 2 charges here in the Filly Mare Turf. Now 16 minutes until post time. Rishi, I'm curious about the 5-horse in here, Gazora, the French-bred filly. I thought looking at some of her races, just the way she runs, she's one that could be very suited to the American style of racing.
I think with her, the big thing will be in her favour today is better ground. She disappointed in the Arc last time. She never really got into that race. The run prior to that was the Vermeil in France. And she finished second to Aventure, who was obviously very well fancied for the Arc itself. And in fairness, Aventure won with any amount in hand. The run that gives her a big chance is her win in the French Oaks, where she beats Bedtime Story, who was also in the race again today. And that was on better ground. I'm hoping that for her connections, the better ground today brings out the best in Gazora.
Scott has more with her trainer.
Gazora travels in from France for trainer Francis-Henri Greffard off of a lack of run in the Arc. What happened that afternoon?
Look, it was a very competitive race. The ground was very soft and she found herself way too far back. And so she made her move, but it was too difficult really against this field in that ground. You couldn't make up too much ground.
When did this race come on the radar? When did this become a plan?
It was always a plan to come over to America because she would probably stay in America as a 4 years old. So Mr. Brandt was very keen to give it a go here. The distance will be perfect for her. And I said to him, if she's in good form and come out of the Arc well, why not giving it a go? Sorry.
And does the quicker ground upgrade her chances?
Yeah, no, she can handle that, no problem. It just you need a little bit of experience around tight turn. I've seen that with my 2 runners previously. It's quite difficult, and my 2 runners, they hit a flat spot at the wrong time in the race and finish strongly. So I hope she doesn't have that, and she will finish strongly. So fingers crossed, really.
Good luck today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gazora for the Greffard barn. Good luck to them. A 4-time winner in 9 starts and getting over the tighter turns, as he mentions. Might be a bit of a learning curve there, but she certainly has the acceleration to go on and catch them at the end of this journey. Here's the 14-horse 5-1, all the way from the outside at post position. See the fire for Andrew Balding. Second, beaten just a neck in that last start, Simon.
I like her in here. Look, she's got a lot to overcome in post position. She's been trace clipped there. You see she's starting to get a winter coat where many of these haven't. But Rishi, I mean, is it crazy to think she has a chance here? I mean, her runs behind Ombudsman put her right in the mix, don't they? Ombudsman would have got money in the Breeders' Cup Turf if it showed up.
He would have been a close to, if not challenging, for favoritism.
Yeah.
She is a very, very good. She's got a very good chance. If she was better drawn, I might have made her my pick for this race. Watch this performance here at York. Now, admittedly, it wasn't as good a field as what she'll face today, or even when she was second last time out in France. But this is a setup for her. 1.25 miles, this was on this occasion, quick ground, Obviously, she's got the extra furlong to go today. I don't think that's an issue. But she bolts away.
Yeah.
She'll get hopefully she gets a decent pace and she can drop in and come through horses that are tiring. I think she's a big danger.
We saw Oisin Murphy yesterday with Valentina in the turf sprint. Beautiful trip there. He certainly knows how to ride this course and any course around the world, but it's a tall task from the outside post, but definitely the right jockey for the job as Oisin Murphy aboard See the Fire, 5-1 from the outside post. We'll head back into the paddock for more.
Andrew Balding has See the Fire here in the Maker's Mark filly and mare turf. And how vigorous has this campaign been for this filly?
Well, she's been on the go quite a long time, obviously, because we started early in April with her. But she's run some good races this season at a very high level in Europe. And, you know, that we always felt this was a good fit for her with an extra furlong looking to suit. But unfortunately, stall 14 isn't very helpful.
What does Oisin have to do?
Work some magic.
Good luck, Andrew.
Thank you.
Good luck to Andrew Balding. Yes, recognizing the outside post will certainly be a challenge, but we'll see if they can get there 5-1 from the outside post. Curious about the 4-horse in here. Village Voice is 14-1. Chad Brown has won this race 4 times. Zagora, Day at the Spa, Stephanie's Kitten, Sister Charlie. No one would be surprised to see Chad Brown win the filly and mare turf, and yet his runner is up on the board at 14-1.
I think it's, I mean, Rishi can back me up on this. I think if you look at her, she's had one US start and it was an okay, nice win in a Group 3, which is a lot weaker, but her European form doesn't match up to some of the others. Not even close, is it?
No, that's a fair point. She was a very capable filly when she was trained in Ireland, but she hasn't really delivered the type of performance that would make her up there with See the Fire, Cinderella's Dream. She would, if this race was run in Europe against the European horses, she would be one of the longer plays.
Post parade begins. Mission of Joy from the inside post, Simon. She is on the board at 60-1.
For trainer Phil D'Amato, she won the Rodeo Drive, kind of the local prep here, 60-1 respective chances.
There's Stella Fly, Florent Giroux aboard for Brad Cox. She's been sharp lately. It's won her last 4 races, including the Grade 3 at Kentucky Downs in her last start.
Scratch the 3.
4 is Village Voice, who's an ex-Irish horse, now with Chad Brown, had that 1 start in the States. Her best form in Ireland and in Europe leaves her a little bit shy of the very best horses here.
Silks are Resolute Racing. Peter Brandt, Silks aboard the 5 Gazora. It's a filly that might find herself stateside here in the Chad Brown barn after this race. Who knows? But yeah, put a line through the last race, ground too soft.
Next up is Diamond Rain, a Charlie Appleby trainee. Just missed last time out in the EP Taylor up at Woodbine, finishing second by a head to She Feels Pretty.
She weighs 570 kilos.
She is huge.
She's a big, big mare. 7 is Be Your Best, trained by Safi Joseph, was behind Beletza last time out. Again, one of the long shots in this race. Her best form leaves her shy of the very best here.
Cathedral, the 8, 90-1. The second longest shot in the field here. Ran behind Cinderella's Dream last time, was well beaten by her.
And here's your favorite coming up, Cinderella's Dream, taking a lot of plays. 8 for 14 lifetime, and we saw that backtrack last year in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf. Just missed by a half a length, finishing second there. A little better luck today. Could be right there in the end with William Buick.
That's your longest shot in the field, Lakika, 99-1. They don't have enough digits to make her 100-1, so that's as large a price as you're ever going to get in pari-mutuel wagering.
This is an interesting filly, 11 bedtime story. When she won at Royal Ascot last year, everyone thought she was going to be a world beater. That hasn't happened. She's run some really good races, hasn't always had the best of luck this season. And Aiden O'Brien trying to add another Breeders' Cup winner to his illustrious haul.
12 Beletza for Miguel Clement. She won the Flower Bowl in New York. That was back at Saratoga. She's had some time off. That's been the theme with a lot of these Breeders' Cup runners, taking a break from August all the way to this race.
And there She Feels Pretty coming up. Johnny Velasquez aboard for Cherie DeVoe. Hasn't run in 2.5 months, but coming into this race really good. Does have to contend with that outside post.
14 See the Fire also has that issue of coming from a wide stall position. She's got the form, she's got the ability. She's also, I think, going to have the setup in this race to run well, but it'll be a challenge for the British champion jockey, Oisin Murphy.
We were a little out of order, but there is Lakika, the Peruvian bred. She is 6 for 12 lifetime. Let's go to Dave in the studio.
This is it. It is your final chance for the money back special through your FanDuel racing account. Bet $10 to win on one of these horses, and if you finish second or third, you get your money back in a racing bonus. But we're going to pick a winner here. I like the 6 horse Diamond Rain. You know, William Buick had his choice at the 2 Godolphin runners. He's going to go to the 9 Cinderella's Dream. But the young Billy Loughnane has gotten the mount on Diamond Rain. His only other ride today, he finished 3rd with El Cordobas back in the turf. So I think he's primed to ride the race of his life here. Current odds on Diamond Rain are 9-2, so our $10 win bet right now would get us back $55. If you want to get in on the action, scan that QR code right there, and it will take you to your FanDuel Racing account. Let's check in with Michelle.
Beleza goes postward in here for Miguel Clemont. 2 things this filly loves, the distance and the firm turf. I feel like that's a very nice recipe. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, agreed. We were very much excited about that. I think she's 2 for 2 going a mile 3/8 and on firm turf. So she'll get both of them today.
What about the pace? Is there going to be enough pace for her?
I think there will be. There's 2 or 3 speeds, on the inside. We're drawn in the parking lot, so Tyler needs to decide, do you go forward and drop in, or you just take back? So you need to play the break a bit. But he's a top-class jockey, and that's why he gets paid the big bucks.
So is that something you guys are going to talk about, or it's just all up to him?
No, my job's to train it. His job's to ride, so don't worry about it.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Beleza, the 12 horse, 20-1 for Miguel Clemont as he seeks his first Breeders' Cup victory. And it would be an emotional moment. Certainly, it's his late father's birthday today. He would have turned 60 today, Christophe Clement. Here's our DRF formulator fact. Miguel Clemont, 10 for 38. That's 26% with a $2.23 ROI in graded stakes races on the turf. We'll see if Beleza can add to those statistics today at the big price. We are going to come back to the 4. We mentioned Village Voice a little while ago. What kind of trip do you think we'll see from her as far as the pace goes here, Joe? Fabian Pratt already on the board with 2 Breeders' Cup winners in these first couple of days. Can he get another one here?
Yeah, she's definitely going to have to move forward there off of that grade 3 victory, that Belmont Aqueduct the last time out. One thing that is a positive for her, that was almost off a year layoff. So, I mean, that's a pretty big race, especially going 2 turns, and that's a mile and 3/8, so the same distance she's running today. So I think she needs to move forward a little bit more than what she did last time, but still right there. And again, to come off a year layoff and run like that, I would have to think second time off of that, she's going to move forward even more.
Simon, you're playing an exacta in this race? Who's on your ticket?
That's all I got left. I'm kind of out running on fumes here. I don't know what's left.
You had Nisos in your doubles.
I did have
alive
Nisos.
in that.
Oh, I've got the doubles still alive. Yeah, but with a 3 to 5 shot.
Do you have prices on that ticket, I hope?
Yeah, I'm just going to bullet the 14. I'm going to go against everything that makes sense, that post position's bad, and I've seen enough chaos here this weekend that we could overcome that. I think she's got the best form, and then use those 4 horses underneath, the 6, the 9, the 11, and 13.
Rish?
Well,
one of your own?
Thinking that the Appleby team, and bearing in mind they've had today 3 runners, 2, the 2nd and 3rd with Rebels Romance and El Cordobas, and then Notable Speech winning. It's clear their horses are running very well. So I'm going to say Diamond Rain 6, 9, Cinderella's Dream. And I'm going to add Jazora in there because I just feel that she might appreciate this contest in terms of the conditions of the race, the ground, and if she gets a nice easy pace and she can travel in behind. I'm annoyed about leaving out See the Fire, though. I can understand why Simon wants that, but just the draw puts me off.
Final leg of a lot of multi-race sequences here. That $1 pick 6 yesterday paid $89,000. If you're alive in the $1 pick 6 coming into this race, the 9, your current favorite at 3 to 1, brings back $52,000 in the pick 6. Let's see if our second choice in the wagering farther to the outside, 31,000 back to the 13. $65,000 back to the 14. Interesting to see all the money and the action on the 13 horse out there. And then a couple of them paying to 5 of 6, the 1 and the 10, I believe that is a little over 8,500 with those 2 runners at big, big prices. Let's go back to Caton for more.
Chad, did Village Voice, coming off the victory last time out, obviously a different situation here today. What does she have to do to be equally successful?
Yeah, well, she hadn't run in about 11 and a half months there, so I think that race probably gave her a good bit of fitness. So I'd expect a good forward move with her numbers. I mean, she's going to have to. There's some really fancy horses in here, and but her first number was a solid number, and if she comes forward a few points, that actually puts her in the mix.
With the configuration here today in this field, do you anticipate her sitting the similar trip?
I do, and she's drawn well. So if Flavien can sort of find the fence maybe and get a good forward position and just kind of gallop around and cover, I think she's got a fast last quarter in her.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
We haven't talked much about Stellify, about the 2
Yes.
in here. 30-1
Good.
morning line. She's taken a lot of attention, and it has to be because of the pace and the speed that she shows.
Yes, I would think so. She's a one-dimensional filly. As the races have got longer, she's got a little quicker. The fractions get a little slower. That enables her to control the race a little bit. Watching her train earlier this week, she's a big, what I would call a one-pace type filly. I don't think she's going to quicken. That would be evidenced in her past performances. Kind of big filly that's got a high knee action, true middle-distance filly. She's the one to catch. I don't know whether she's got the class, though, against some of these.
One thing she does have is stamina. When she won those back-to-back races at Kentucky Downs, going 1.5 miles and 1 mile and 5/16, that was off 10 days rest. And we know how demanding Kentucky Downs is, the undulation up and down and stuff like that. And she's a filly we talk about improving all the time.
Okay, well, we get 2 minutes to post. We're taking kind of some shots here. It's the last race. We're going to try and make some money. I took a wild swing with one of these. My money back specials are the 5, the 8, and the 12. The 8 is my just crazy long shot. Why did I pick this one? Well, it's Great Britain bred, running some really good grade 1s races. So I thought, well, maybe what the heck, at over 100 to 1, let's give it a shot. Also using the 5. That one's currently 9 to 1, and the 12 is currently 19 to 1. Those are my money back specials, 5, 8, 12. And then I'm doing an exacta box. You can see it here, exacta box, 5, 8, 12, 14. The 5 we just talked about, the 8, the long shot, the 12 at 18 to 1, and the 14 at 5 to 1. And then I actually have another try, including some of those numbers, but that's the ones kind of taking a crazy shots. The last race, going to try and make up some of the money I lost. I was holding my own close to even for a while, but it's time to try and take a swing for the fence here. So that's my money back plays and my crazy exacta box plays. Let's see what happens. Good luck, and thanks for watching. Weekend Double will be back here and there. Watch the schedule. Nick and I will try and be back for big stakes races. And then most of the Kentucky Derby preps are going to heat up here after the first of the year. We'll cover some even in November or December. Well, I think it's December for the most part. And then all spring we'll be all over it. So we're here for every Kentucky Derby prep, for most of them anyway. So we'd like to see you here. And thanks again for joining in today in the chat. I see a lot of you people are picking some horses here. 12 over the 10, 13 here.
He ran really well behind Notable Speech. I think this filly shows that in these conditions she can.
The number 12. A lot of you like the number 12. All right. Good luck if you're wagering, and thanks again for watching. It's been a long day, but it's been a fun day. Breeders' Cup's always a blast, and good luck in this last race.
Breeders' Cup Saturday. Field moving into line. Here's Cathedral taking her spot in the starting gate. Makika moving into line. Here's Jazora and Valetza. Diamond Rain, white cap. Bedtime Story.
Come on, 8. Get in the top 2.
Leaves just 2 left to load. She Feels Pretty and See the Fire. See the Fire is the last one to move into the starting gate here for the filly and mare turf. She steps forward, steps back here, and goes in. Well in line. They're off. in the filly and mare turf, and Be Your Best is the early leader, going immediately to the front from Village Voice, who takes a spot on the inside. Farther out, She Feels Pretty now moves up and takes second. Entering that first turn, Cathedral is in fourth early on. And it's Mission of Joy, followed by Between Horses Jazora and a 3 wide Cinderella's Dream. Diamond Rain behind her, and 3 lengths more back to Balatza. They're being followed by Stellify, who's down toward the inside. After that, See the Fire, Bedtime Story is second last, and La Kika is the trailer as Be Your Best and Arad Ortiz Jr. run a 24.36 quarter and lead the way early on here in the filly and mare turf by 2.5 lengths over Village Voice, and She Feels Pretty heads apart second and third by 4. Cathedral is in fourth, Mission of Joy fifth on the inside, then Jazora, followed by the 2 Godolphin runners who are right together. Diamond Rain inside of Cinderella's Dream. They're 9 lengths off the lead moving into the turn. And then Bedtime Story racing on the inside of Stellify. Baletza is next. After that, See the Fire and La Kika. 47.43 the half mile. Onto the backstretch they go. Be Your Best on top by 2. She Feels Pretty on the outside is second by a head over Village Voice, who's down toward the rail. A 4-length gap back to Cathedral. After that comes Jazora and Mission of Joy. And then still together are Diamond Rain and Cinderella's Dream. They're still 9 lengths from the front with Bedtime Story to the inside. They make their way into the far turn now. Be Your Best on top with She Feels Pretty 3/4 of a length behind. Village Voice, Cathedral next, then Jazora. Mission of Joy on the inside. Diamond Rain, Cinderella's Dream being asked for her run.
Come on, 8.
She's 3 wide. She's got 5 lengths to gain. In the meanwhile, She Feels Pretty has taken the lead at the top of the stretch.
Come on, 8. Get up there.
Opens up the lead by 2. Jazora
Get up there, 8.
on the outside. Down
Get
toward
up.
the inside, running along in third position is Cathedral. And then in the center, it is Diamond Rain. They're coming down to the wire. Here comes Jazora. Jazora runs down She Feels Pretty to win. Then Diamond Rain, followed by Cathedral.
Jazora
money back.
gets there right on the line after the full mile and 3/8 journey. It's the last 3 jumps, Simon, that she puts her head in front.
She does. I mean, she drops her head right on the wire. I thought the filly on the lead had gone for home. I thought she might have opened it up, got some separation, but class prevails here. Very, very nice performance for Gazora and owner Peter Brandt.
Yeah, and you could see right here, She Feels Pretty with Johnny V. He is just absolutely loaded, turning for home here. Looked like she was going to take off and not be caught, but Richie, here comes Jazora in the end. Very, very impressive in the shadow of the wire.
These are the sort of conditions that she enjoys, and she's had a perfect setup because the pace has been genuine enough for her to have something to aim at, and she's done exactly that. She Feels Pretty is out in front, and she's coming at her. And Mikel Barcelona and Francis Graffat have had the most amazing season. They won the King George at Ascot. They won Champion Stakes on Champions Day. Francis-Henri Graffat also won the Arc with Dariz as well. And now a Breeders' Cup winner as well. What a fabulous year.
He talked about maybe a little bit of a learning curve for the horses, and it looks like it just took her a while to kind of figure it out, right? To really set herself down, to give her best down the stretch once she had clear sailing.
I think the ground is a big factor, right? I mean, to come from a 10-length defeat, finishing 13th in the Arc, a month later to come back here, to me, she looks like she's suited to North American racing. Let's keep her here.
And she's only 3, too.
Yeah.
Richie doesn't like that.
No.
You know, we need as many horses as we can to keep our racing as competitive as possible in Europe. Thank you, Simon.
California does too.
Yeah, we do too, yeah.
Gazora home on top at 9-1. Congratulations to all the connections. Let's take a look overhead at where the winner came from. She was sitting back about 5th at this stage, and this was kind of a carbon copy looking at She Feels Pretty, Joe, of what we saw from her in her last several starts. She knows her job. She takes John Velasquez right to the front. I think she saw out the distance today. She was just run down by a better filly.
Yeah, for sure. And hats off to Johnny Velasquez, too. From the 13 hole to be able to get over a 2-wide trip, that is absolutely incredible. I thought in defeat, take nothing away from her, but Jazora, what a great finish this was. I feel like between this and Nisos, these were 2 really good finishes, and no way to end the day on a race like this.
Tough beat for She Feels Pretty. I mean, John Velasquez, you know, he didn't move too soon. The filly just took him there.
Yeah.
I mean, just took him there so easy, and it took everything for Gazora to come and get her. Diamond Rain ran huge. Yeah, Rishi talking about her size the whole time in the running. The race, you're like, look at her next to stablemate. I mean, it was unbelievable.
I'm saying beforehand, she weighs 570 kilos. Cinderella's Dream weighs 470. So sorry, I should say in pounds, shouldn't I? 1,250 odd pounds as opposed to 1,000 pounds for.
That's like Simon compared to me.
Almost exactly the same numbers. Actually,
yeah, exactly.
Our final Breeders' Cup race of championship Saturday, the Maker's Mark Filly and Mare Turf goes to Chisora.
Okay.
Number 5, Jazora was first. Second, number 13, She Feels Pretty. Third, number 6, Diamond Rain. Fourth, number 8, Cathedral. And fifth was number 11, Bedtime Story. 5, 13, 6, 8, 11. Your top 5 finishers. This race is still unofficial. The final time for 1 mile and 3/8 on the turf, 2 minutes 12.54 seconds.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap it up for Breeders' Cup this year. It was fun. Made a little money on that one with my $10 money back on the 5. Cushioned the blow a little bit, paid for my bets for the most part. But thanks for joining in. I know I have a big Latin American crowd. I really appreciate everything you do for me as far as watching when it comes to the big races during Triple Crown Series. And I know, well, it means a lot to me that you're out there. So I really appreciate it. So continue watching. And again, like I said, when the Kentucky Derby preps get going, Nick and I will be here catching most of them. And if we don't have it live, we'll cover it tape delayed. So that's it for the Breeders' Cup. I know it was a long day, and some of you joined us for all 3 segments, and I appreciate that. But we didn't have any internet problems. Del Mar didn't have any internet problems. That's all I could really hope for. And lost a little money, but not a lot. We hit a couple of nice races and made up for it. So, again, thank you again. And we'll probably do this again next year if we don't actually go to Breeders' Cup. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.